Please try and sit still. Although these are questions and, it's still the meditation class. And if you're moving and fidgeting, it disrupts the class. I'm so tired of saying I'm like a broken record. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? This time of the year should not be a time of grieving or lamenting or sorrow, or it should be a time of gratitude and joy and love for, the teachers in one's lineage. There's Rudy and Nityananda, and God knows, they extend back, endlessly, of meditation and spiritual practice having been passed down from generation to generation. So it's not a time to approach feeling sad or feeling, lamenting about, the demise of somebody. It's a time to feel just tremendous gratitude for the gifts that this person has given to all of us. And as I say, I think maybe Bob Sink is the only person here who's met Rudy. But none of us would be sitting here if it wasn't for Rudy. I would certainly know that I would not be sitting here. I don't see how I could have survived Stuart without getting the training that he gave me. So in my heart, there's just an endless amount of gratitude, and I do the work I do today because of him, as saying thank you to him for connecting me with God and teaching me how to just literally be a human being and to function consciously in this world. So I think that is what this time is all about. It's a time for us to truly find nothingness inside ourselves, and in that nothingness, a oneness with higher energy in the universe. We're no longer full of our ego, our minds, our opinions, our self-importance, and just in a state of surrender. Rudy's last words before the plane hit the mountain was a deepest sense of surrender. That has to teach us something. So I'm saying all this because I think everyone who is here, I'm grateful that every single one of you is here, and I can't tell you the depth of feeling and gratitude I have for your presence in these classes. At the same time, none of us would be here if it wasn't for Rudy. And if it wasn't for Nityananda and Rudy's teachers, told me so many times, he teaches what he teaches out of gratitude to the teachers who saved his life. And it makes us all a little bit more human, And it's something that we not only should do with Rudy, but we should do that with every single person who's been in our life, especially family, parents and children. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Do you have a question? You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
A spiritual teacher once told me, he was talking about a situation where a student moved to a different teacher, even if it's the same spiritual work. He said that the student cannot build a system like that. Is it true?
It's bullshit.
Thank you.
Look, no teacher is in competition with any other teacher. No teacher owns a student. Your karma owns you, where you have to go to get what is essential for your spiritual life. And, I mean, look, I don't buy that. I never bought it. I never taught that. I never have been in competition with anybody. I never tried to control people who study with me. Your experience, your life, your evolution takes you to exactly where you're supposed to be to grow. And that could be with 2 teachers, 3 teachers. Nobody's in competition with anybody. It's all one purpose, to get people to become one with God. So I'll repeat it again. It's pure bullshit. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, there's one thing about people that teach Rudy's work. No matter who you sit with, it's going to be a little different. The energy flows through them in their own unique way. And some people don't teach, they have Rudy's picture there and they teach nothing that Rudy taught. But whatever they teach is what's flowing through them. And you can learn from anybody.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that if you have a root teacher, you have to take advantage of that teaching and ground yourself in that teaching. And then it will allow you to open to, I've had incredible Christian experiences, Muslim experiences. I never negate any of it. It's all part of my spiritual growth. I've been with shamans in the Brazilian jungles, really, it's all part, but I always come back to Rudy. And why do I come back to Rudy? Not because he ever controlled me, but because he gave me my life. He was the root that gave me my life. Unconditionally, he did, with love and caring. And, also, he was pretty strict taskmaster, Rudy, but it was always done with love and with the understanding that I had to grow and he needed me to train him myself. If you get a teacher that's willing to do that for you, he once told me, he said to me many times, you'll never need another teacher. He said, you can go and experiment, but he told me, I'll teach you everything I've ever learned. That's what he told me. And out of his mouth, I got that. And it didn't require for me to go to other teachers. Although I did in India, I went to Kala Rinpoche, I went to teachers in Rajasthan, and I sat with them and open to what they had to teach me. And some of them was amazing. Kala Rinpoche became a dear, person living in my heart, what he taught me. I met him 3 times on 3 different days in his lamasery in a place called Sanada. But it was amazing what came and how it helped change my life. But it was only because of Rudy that I was able to do that. I used Rudy's meditation technique to get out of Kala Rinpoche probably the most profound Tibetan teachings imaginable. But it was Rudy's meditation technique that enabled me to get it. So it's all bullshit, I really mean that. It's just, it's ego, it's control, and you shouldn't be controlled by anybody. Get your training wherever you can get it. That's the most important thing. And then build your connection with God, Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask? I get my training from all of you. I really do. You are my teacher. I've said this 100 times already, but it's true. I come here every single meditation class, and I come here, and what I have learned from all of you is beyond my comprehension. And it's so totally extraordinary that I bow to all of you. I love all of you because you are helping me get closer to God, to my spirit. You're helping me to do the work and work out of my karma on the earth. And as I told you many times, I am not a guru. I don't want to be a guru. I've been a guru. It's a total bore. I'm a Kundalini aerobics instructor. That's what I do. I help people to build their chakra systems. My job is to help you get strong enough to have your own independent connection with God. That's my job. And that's what I do. And I don't need great rewards for it. I don't, it's just part of the evolution and the growth of Stuart Perrin, that he has to do this. And I bow down to all of you because you are my teacher. Life is my teacher. And any guru, anyone wearing orange robes or an orange t-shirt or whatever they wear, their job is to train people in this, so people get their own independent connection with God.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I started reading Rudy's book about spiritual cannibalism, and in it he mentions Subud and Bakpak, and I'm a member of Subud. Did he ever mention anything besides the wee little bit in his book?
I know he did that, and I don't know anything about it, though. He never spoke to me about it and what he practiced. I know he was, oh, you're over here now. If people leave, everybody bounces around. Anyway, he never spoke to me. I know he mentioned to me a lot of times that he had done Subud. I know he was told by some psychics in New York that he had to leave New York. He was told by them that he would die within a year if he stayed in New York. And I think he was on his way. I think Subud, they have a place in New Zealand or somewhere like that. And he was on his way there. And he stopped in India, and friend of his, took him to meet Swami Nityananda. The meeting between Rudy and Swami Nityananda transformed Rudy's life. He didn't have to go to New Zealand. And he came back to New York, and he continued teaching what he was teaching and continued to do his life. But he gave up everything in New York. He gave up his business. He gave up his family, everything he gave up, because he was told by a psychic that if he stays here, he's going to die within a year. And he was going to go to do Subud, but he never wound up there because he met Nityananda. And Nityananda completely transformed Rudy's life. And Nityananda is my beloved grandfather, spiritual grandfather. Nityananda has also transformed my life. The first time I met Rudy, first day I walked into his gallery when I was looking in the window of his gallery and all this very ancient and wonderful art. And a friend of mine said, well, let's go in. And I told him, I said, Charlie, I'm broke. What am I going to do? And he said, it doesn't cost to look. Never forget that. I walked in and Rudy was standing in the middle of the gallery. And like a magnet, I was just attracted to him. And he started talking to me about his teachings and his guru and this. And he showed me a picture, himself lying on the floor in some kind of, hypnotic state. And there was a picture of Swami Nityananda superimposed in his heart. And this is the first thing he ever showed me. And, incredible, It's amazing the signs and the things that happen that guide you to exactly where you're supposed to be to have a spiritual life. And then You know, 2 years later, he told me the only reason I keep you around here is you remind me of Swami Nityananda when he was a young man. So Rudy told me. I said, that's pretty good. I said, I don't mind that. He told me that. I only keep you here. I would never take another student. The only reason I keep you, you remind me of Nityananda when he was a young man.
Thank you.
But I don't, honestly, Gabriella, I don't know anything about Subud. He never told me anything about it. He spoke a little bit about Gurdjieff work, which he did also when he was younger, but never the Subud work. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, so there'll be class tomorrow evening. Tomorrow is the Samadhi Day. I hope you all can attend. There'll also be a class, an international class at 1 o'clock my time. Wherever you're living, you got to figure what time it is for you. And I'm on the East Coast. And I'm hoping people attend these classes. It's a very important day, and I hope it's a day that all of us can use to grow and develop our spiritual lives. I wish I could do it all in person with you. I did it in person with, I don't know, 13 people this weekend, you know, and it was pretty miraculous. It was pretty extraordinary weekend. So God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for coming to these classes. And I'm hoping to see you all tomorrow. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Night.
Mhm.